Good afternoon, Ncumisa. Thank you very much for joining us on the program. Firstly, your take on that 0.5 percentage point increase in VAT, which is expected to raise roughly around 28 billion in additional revenue.
Afternoon. Thank you so much for having me, Bonyo. So in terms of that increase, it will obviously have an impact on the users, on the consumers, because remember, VAT it's charged on consumption. So when we buy, there's a VAT portion that's included. However, they've tried to reduce it. I think initially they wanted to increase it by 2%. Currently now it's 0.5% for this year, but it will also go up next year to another 0.5%, so a total increase of 1%. What that means is that we'll be paying more in terms of goods that I've got VAT. So there's different types of goods. Got zero-rated goods that there's no VAT in. And what the minister has also tried is to increase the number or the types of goods that are now sitting in the zero-rated. So those are the ones that will not have any VAT charged on them. So he included canned food, or canned vegetables, dairy products, and so there is some. They've tried to increase that. They've also tried to increase the grants. So the amount on the grants, they've increased it. It's a minimum increase, but at least they've tried to increase it because it will have an impact on the disposable income of our consumers.
And just place it slightly above inflation. But then the minister stressed that the VAT increase wasn't an easy decision. They explored other options, such as increasing corporate tax, which many had spoken of, which they then opted against. And he was arguing that it's actually far higher in South Africa than other peer countries and could possibly further harm investment. Your views on just that position to not touch corporate tax?
So if you looked at the numbers, so in terms of the corporate income tax, the minister or the SARS is not getting much in terms of income tax. So remember, income tax is charged on the profit of the business. So in terms of the companies in South Africa, because of the economy, they're actually not making much profit, which means then they are not paying tax. And also now, if you're also going to have a VAT increase, which is going to impact the consumers, it will also impact that disposable income. Hence, he also didn't touch the individual tax brackets as well. And because also he didn't increase, they didn't touch the brackets. So normally they will adjust the tax brackets to adjust for inflation. Those were not adjusted. So already the consumer is already, or individuals in South Africa already will be feeling the impact of the VAT increase. Hence, he didn't. I think the economy. He also touched on the fact that if you look at electricity and infrastructures that we have in South Africa, it's not actually conducive for growth for the different companies. Hence, they wouldn't have profit that he can actually tax.
Now that you touch on growth, the minister went on to state that the bigger conversation should actually be on how we grow the economy at this point, and as much as many people were more interested in the VAT. But infrastructure spending has been viewed for the longest time now as that catalyst for growth. The minister revealed that 1 trillion will be spent over the next 3 years. Your take on just that amount of money that will be allocated to infrastructure spending?
So the infrastructure spending, the way that it creates growth is because through infrastructure, then it will result in jobs. So in the infrastructure, so in your construction, your engineering sectors, then there will be people that will get employment. So it creates employment. It then will result in people spending, because remember, you need people to spend for the economy to grow. So it will then result in a tax base that's also broadened or increased from the people that are now working in that infrastructure or construction and engineering sectors. And that's how he then intends to grow the economy. Also, if we are employing people within that economy or that sector, it will then result in a broadening of the tax base. Because remember, now they're employed, though you'll be able then to tax them, which will then bring revenue to the fiscus that we can also utilize as well as part of the growth.
So I suppose your view is that it was most certainly a good call. Then on capacitating SARS, this was also quite the talking point, just building up to the tabling of this revised budget. Everybody saw the fallout and assumed that what the minister has stated related to the SARS commissioner. But this time around, he's gone on to reveal that they're allocating 3.5 billion rand to SARS in the current financial year, and then an additional 4 billion over the medium term. Your take on just that amount that's now going to be allocated to capacitate SARS?
Yeah, so in his speech, I agreed with that, because remember, in his speech he highlighted that there are taxpayers. So currently we need to make revenue, and you make revenue from your taxpayers. So currently the number of taxpayers that we have in South Africa compared to, let's say, your grant recipients, it's so small. So by broadening the tax base and by capacitating SARS in order then for SARS to be able to ensure that there's compliance and people that should be taxpayers are paying tax, so it will really assist SARS in really executing the mandate in terms of collection of revenue for Treasury or for the fiscus, if I can put it like that. So that amount is really to ensure that there's compliance within the tax space and to find the loopholes maybe that might be a tax evasion, people that are evading tax, that are not paying tax and they should be paying tax, and people that are maybe not even registered for tax that actually should be registered for tax. So I think it's really to try and find money within the taxpayers or the people that are not taxpayers that should be taxpayers.
All right, Ncumisa, thank you very much for your insights and reactions this afternoon. That is Ncumisa Mkunqwana, CEO of Chapo Chartered Accountants there, giving us her take on the budget speech that was tabled today.